I'm actually kind of quiet off stage. A lot of people don't realize that. I was at a dinner party recently. A bunch of people that I don't know. One guy talking plenty for everybody. Me, myself, right, and then I, and then myself, right, me. I couldn't tell this one about I because I was talking about myself, and then me. Beware the me monster. So I tried to jump in with a little story. I don't want to just sit there the whole night. Right when I'm done with my story, this guy goes, "That ain't nothing." Oh, well, didn't mean to waste everybody's time telling my nothing story. Here, let Marco Polo speak. He's back with tales of adventure. My story ain't nothing. Maybe it wasn't, because I made the mistake of trying to tell a story about having only 2 wisdom teeth pulled, and I learned a lesson. Don't ever try to tell a 2 wisdom tooth story, because you ain't going nowhere. The 4 wisdom teeth people are going to parachute in and cut you off at the pass. Halt! Halt with your 2 wisdom tooth tale. You will never complete one, trust me. I'm trying to tell my story. You know, I had some wisdom teeth pulled. I had 4 pulled. Oh, okay. No 5, no 9. I had 9 wisdom teeth pulled. All of mine were impacted. They were all coming upside down. The roots were wrapped around my tongue, coming out my nose. They were tusks. I was a warthog. No anesthesia. They pulled them out with pliers. I was eating corn on the cob that afternoon. Pin the blue ribbon upon his chest. That knocks the socks off of my wisdom tooth tail. Why do people need to top other people? I've never understood it, and I see it all the time. Obviously, people get something out of it. At best, people wait for your lips to stop. Yeah, as soon as... Okay, you, me! You, me! You see the difference? You see that? Now I do. What is it about the human condition? People get something out of that. That's why I have a social fantasy. I wish I was one of the 12 astronauts who have been on our moon. They must love knowing they can beat anybody's story whenever they want. They can sit back quietly at a dinner party while some other person, some me monster's doing his thing, and let him go. Let him run with the line while you be quiet. Oh, really? Let him have his moment. Yeah, I'm a big traveler. I have my business. I got my own global enterprise I got to check. Driving in the Autobahn because I keep a fleet of sports cars over in Zurich. I got a Swiss account that I want to check out. Mount Kilimanjaro expedition, might have to cancel that. Runways in Aspen are a lot shorter the first time you go in there. The Pacific Rim Company, we're going to try to take that over. Global enterprise. I walked on the moon. Well, you have the floor, Moonwalker. You mentioned driving on the Autobahn. That reminded me. Once I was driving in the Sea of Tranquility. In my lunar rover. And I, too, was worried about our speeds, and I remembered, wait, we're the only ones on the moon.
I love that guy. You must go and check him up on Facebook. Brian Regan. R-E-G-A-N. The me monster. That whole thing of the guy. I drove on the moon. All right, so we're talking about branding today. You don't want to become the me monster in your branding. All right, let me share my slides. How you guys all doing out there? How's business? put a comment in the chat, Rob, telling me how business is. Yep, nice to see many friends on the webinar today, many familiar names, and many people I hope to make friends with in the future. Okay, guys, so today, personal branding. We're going to finish off the Spotlight series. So I'm seeing people saying, great, business is good. Very busy, excellent, up and down, but mostly up, says Brian. Great to hear, Brian. Fine, thanks. Going like a Boeing, says Sharon. Well done, Sharon. Still trying to get this going, says Gideon. Yep, keep going. Slowed down on sales right now. Rentals seem to be taking off. Great, Cheryl. Valentino says going brilliant. Yep, good. Nice to have met you yesterday, Valentino. Yep. Okay, good, guys. So things seem to be going well. Bobby says we're good. 2 deals last week. Big one lined up for the weekend. 10.9 million, I presume that is. Well, good luck for that, Bobby. Hope you pull it off. Okay. So personal branding. What are we going to say? I mean, this is a huge topic, guys, and really we can only give the broad strokes today. But I do hope to point you in the right direction on a few things. And I really hope that this whole Spotlight series has been a blessing to you. We probably will be over an hour again today because there's a few videos I want to show you. But I've got one shot at producing this session. And let's just get as much value into it as we can. And then you've got the replay afterwards that you can go over again and again. So, okay, so where are we going to start today? Well, let's just define personal branding. What am I talking about when I talk about personal branding? Oh, yes, I wanted to just remind you of the replay. So these are the sessions we've done so far. Session 1 was knowing your numbers. You remember that exercise? Session 2, mindset and fundamental beliefs. I thought that was such a powerful session. Then we did that bonus session with Brent Gove on how to get listings. Then session 3 was on lead generation, and I gave you the blueprint for generating leads. And so many of you got back to me and said that was unbelievably helpful for you, which I'm very pleased about. We did another bonus session after that, and then today, session 4, we're looking at building your personal brand. So this is the final session in the series. And again, trust it's been a blessing to you. All the replays are to be found at this website, spotlightcoachingseries.co.za. Spotlightcoachingseries.co.za. All of the replays I've put in little buttons next to the sessions, as you can see on the slide on the screen. Okay, personal branding. So today we are going to discuss everything that pertains to what you do outside of your database communication. Okay, now obviously the stuff you do with your database, particularly as your B list gets bigger and bigger and bigger and you're sending out your weekly email, obviously that is a big part of your branding. That's positioning you in the minds of people out there. Of course it is, but for the purposes of today, we're going to be talking about everything you do outside of your database. Okay, so I'm not going to repeat what I've told you last time about bulk email, your weekly email that's got to be going, WhatsApping the links out, handwritten notes, phone calls, all the stuff you do with your advocates and your B list. We're not going to do that today. Today, we're going to focus on how you spread your net even wider. Okay, so this is about establishing a public presence for yourself where your face, your contact details, your brand, your logo are regularly appearing in front of people in your area. And I guess one way of saying it is it's all about becoming visible. In a cluttered world, how do you keep yourself visible publicly in your area? But, and now this is the crucial point that I want you to get. It is not just about your face and your name and your contact details and maybe your logo that you want publicly visible constantly. That's old school branding. That's 1970s. It's even like, 2000s, you know. What we're talking about today is how to remain visible in a new world using so many more of the opportunities. So it's not just your face. It's not just a photograph with your contact details and the logo and some slogan on a billboard or on a dustbin or something. In the world we live in today, you can also get your voice and your body language and your facial expressions, your moving facial expressions, and the intonation of your voice, and your opinions, and your attitudes, and your experiences, your story, your whole personality can become publicly visible to the people in your area now. We live in a day and time where public branding at a personal level. Do you understand what we're talking about here? We're not talking about some big company, EXP Realty, Remax, Pangold, whatever. We're not talking about some huge public brand that a company builds. We're talking about you building a public presence, a prominence for yourself, your personal brand that you're building. And the opportunity that we are offered in the generation in which we live is that you can do that with all the richness of who you are being put out into the public sphere. Okay. Right. So Vicky is asking, can we do another webinar with PropCon? Okay. So what I might do, Vicky, is speak to Leandre and ask her to put on like an introductory webinar for PropCon, in which they can talk about how PropCon works. PropCon is a CRM system, for those of you who don't know, and it's the CRM system that I recommend you use. And then she can also do some teaching on how to use PropCon to do some of the stuff I've been talking about. So the bulk emails, newsletters, landing pages, some of the stuff we'll be doing today. So good idea, Vicky. And I can just email the link out to you guys or whatever. Okay, so I hope I've made the point that today is about how you become famous. Okay, so this is the goal, to become well known as the trusted advisor, the most trusted and respected agent in your area. That's the goal. Okay, and you're going to use whatever means you have at your disposal to build that reputation. Okay, not just with the people on your database, which obviously you're trying to do, but with people whom you've never even met before, and as many of them as possible. Okay, so personal branding is all about your becoming famous. That's the goal here. You want to become famous for all the right reasons, of course, not infamous. Okay, Leandre's in the room. Hello, Leandre. Nice to see you. Leandre and her husband are in Bali, and I don't know what time it is in Bali. I think it's in the afternoon there, so it's quite civilized. So yeah, Leandre says she will gladly do a webinar, and I will discuss that with Leandre afterwards, and we can get a date. Okay, cool, guys. So I think I've positioned today's webinar well enough. Let's get into some of the stuff we want to talk about. I want to start by going through the principles that I think govern our discussion about branding. And I think as you got to know me, you've seen this, that I like to talk about principles, fundamental beliefs, because I don't think until we fundamentally understand things that the techniques that we build on top of them, won't stick. But if you understand why you need to be doing things and the principles that govern it, then the techniques are far easier to maintain consistently. So I want to start at the foundational level again today, 7 core principles of personal branding. And principle number 1 is this: build your entire message on your story. You have to have a story to tell, okay? And you do have a story to tell. And your story focuses on how you got to the point where you are now where you can give your target market, property owners in your area, the very best service. Now, you need to show them how, by telling your story, you are now in a position to be their guide. Okay, so the way you tell your story is to position yourself as a guide to the hero of the story. And that was one of the reasons why I played that Brian Reagan clip, is that your branding is not about you, me. It's the hero of the story is not you. It's the seller is the hero of the story, and you're positioning yourself in the story as their guide. So who has the problem in the story? Who has the crisis? It's not you. It's the seller that in your story has the crisis, and your story is about how you've got to a position where you can guide the seller and help them solve their problem. That is the fundamental message of branding. And that comes across in so many ways. There's so many areas in which, if you just think about that principle, it will shape how you communicate your message. I'll give you an example. Client testimonials. So, the temptation is to just have client testimonials on your website. Okay, and fine, nothing wrong with that. Have some client testimonials. But how do you position your client testimonials? Is it just, well, it's Stephen is such a legend. Stephen is so good. Stephen. Is that what the client testimonial is about? It shouldn't be. The client testimonial should be positioned so that it aims at solving the problems of other people that may now have the same problem that your previous client had. What was the client's problem, and will others resonate with the client's problem? And how did the story now unfold? How did you meet them? What was their story when you met them? What was the problem they had? What was the thing they were needing to do? And how did you work with them? What problems overcame? What lessons did you all learn in the process? And how did it get resolved peacefully, so that now you're in a position to be able to guide others who've got the same desires? That's how you can position client testimonials in a far more powerful way, because the person reading the client testimonial, or watching, even better, a little client testimonial video, they're not thinking about you. They don't care about you. And they're not thinking about the person whose home you sold. They don't care about that person. Who do they care about? They care about themselves. And so you need to position them as the hero. And the client testimonial is about how I can now guide you to solve the same problem. Now, can you see how that just gives you a different edge on your client testimonials? Now, that's just one example. You do that in your emails, you do that in your WhatsApps, you do that in the videos you shoot, you do that in your social media posts. Okay, so this is such a huge topic. I want to recommend a book. I've tried not to recommend lots of books, okay, because it just becomes unworkable and people don't go and read the books. But the truth is that books are very powerful. Leaders are readers, and there are books that you can read that will teach you things that I can't teach you in the 2 minutes we've got to talk about, your story. I'm going to recommend a book to you now. Please go and read this book, okay? It is called Building a Story Brand by this guy, Donald Miller. Okay, it did not become a New York Times bestseller for no reason. This is one of the best books on business I've ever read. When I launched my Going Virtual in Real Estate mentorship program about 1.5 years ago, I built the entire marketing campaign on the templates and scripts that this guy teaches in his book. And it worked. Let me just say that. Okay. I'm going to need to leave this discussion here, but it is such a powerful discussion on brand building. Go and buy and read that book. If you need to take a photograph with your phone quickly, take a snapshot, take a screenshot, whatever you need to do so that you don't forget this book, please. Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. Okay, let me give you a second. Okay, so Leandro says it's an amazing book. I'm glad Leandro's read it. Doesn't surprise me. You can listen to the whole book on Audible for around 4 hours, and it's awesome to listen to. Okay, excellent idea, Leandro. Get the Audible version. Okay, I like the book, though, because I could page back to the correct page where it was giving me a certain script for an email, and I could work through it line by line and shape my messages. So I think the Audible version might be quite difficult to go back and find the correct templates. And, so I used it as a bit of a textbook to build this campaign of mine. And it was very powerful. So there you go, guys. I think this could be tremendously helpful for you guys in building your marketing messages. Right, find and communicate a niche. This is the second principle of personal branding, and this is not something we've spoken about before. So this might be a new idea to you, but I think some of you might have a light bulb moment here in the next 2 minutes. Branding, public branding, okay, it's all about answering a question. Here's the question that your public branding is seeking to answer in the minds of people you've never met. Why should I use you instead of someone else? That's the question. Now, maybe there's a little bit more. Maybe you're alerting people to a problem they might have, scratching, like just scratching around, opening up a wound or two to like get people to look around and think about you. There is that to personal branding. But I mean, when people are thinking of buying and selling property, really what you're trying to answer it with your public branding is why they should use you instead of the other estate agent down the road. And one very powerful answer to that question, why am I better than the 57 other estate agents in my area? One very powerful answer is telling your story of how you came to specialize in a certain niche. Okay? So I specialize in new developments, as an example. And this is how I came to be an expert in new developments. And this is why I can be a guide for you if you are looking to invest in a new development. I specialize in family homes. I specialize in security estates. I specialize in distressed sales, in investment properties. There's an agent in my EXP business named Menno van Mechelen. Menno specializes in flats and townhouses. And in fact, he's built his entire brand around flats and so the name of his business is Menno van Mechelen, Flats and Townhouse Specialist. That's his logo, powered by EXP. That's how he positions himself. I've heard of a couple of ladies that specialize in a niche. You would never have thought this was possible. What they sell is churches. They call themselves the church ladies, and they've got a domain, church something.com. They sell churches, and you'd be surprised how much business there is in just focusing in a niche. Okay, now, of course, you don't only then sell in your niche. If you get leads, let's say, Menno gets an opportunity to list a family home in his area. He's probably not going to say no to taking the listing. And the surprising thing is, it seems that when you focus on a niche, you don't actually drive people away if they don't fit into that niche. They will come and they say, look, I know you specialize in flats and townhouses, but you seem like you're really on top of things. Would you list our family home? Sure, no problem. We've actually got a division in our business that does do home sales. And you can talk about it as such. We have a division that specializes in flats and townhouses, but we also have a division that can sell your family home, no problem. There is tremendous power in finding a niche. Okay. Brainstorm it. Because this will help you in your branding. And I'm actually going to pick this discussion up later, and I'll give you examples of how having a niche is going to help you with your content creation. Number 3, understand what makes you truly unique. Okay, so other than your niche, what is it that makes you different to other estate agents in your area? So, for example, you might be very strong on social media. You might know more about social media or social media advertising than most other estate agents do. Now, that is something that you need to communicate in your branding. Okay, communicate your particular strengths. Maybe you're very strong on photography, or maybe you're one of the only agents that does 3D Matterport spaces for all of your listings. Maybe you are very strong financially. You got a good financial mind because you were in banking for 30 years before you became an estate agent. Isolate what it is that you are gifted in and experienced in doing more than other people. Okay, and please understand, this is not about making something up. It's not about like fake it till you make it. It's about truly understanding where your gifts and your experience make you unique. And I am privileged to believe, because I'm a man of faith, that you were created. You were created by an immensely, infinitely intelligent being who gave you particular gifts and talents. You did not just evolve by random things bumping into each other over billions and billions of years. It's a lie. You were created, and you have certain gifts and talents that other people don't have, and you have certain experience, because our Creator takes us on journeys in our lives that cause us to grow maturity and experience in areas. It might be worth sitting down and saying, if it's true that I've been created with gifts and talents, and God has given me certain experience through the journey of life, what are those gifts and talents? Ask some people who know you well. What have your experiences taught you? What skills have you developed? Write them down, because you can take the things on that list and you can start building a message around those things in your branding. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. The fourth principle on personal branding is your content must include authentic moments which give people an insight into your personality. Okay, such a cool statement. And we can do this in the age in which we live. The more you can communicate who you are, the more people will begin to feel like they know you, like they trust you. And this is why, I'm going to mention this later, why using video is going to play such a major role in our strategy, because more than anything else, video allows you to communicate your whole personality. You communicate your convictions, your sense of humor, your tone, your body language, your unique voice, your living smile. Video enables you to tell your story better than any other medium. Okay. Then, in addition to video, which I'm going to pick back up later in the webinar, something else I'm going to get you to do is to go live on social media as often as you can. Going live is such a powerful tool for personal branding because it is so authentic. And this is why live videos get so many more views than any other video. There's something about live video that we engage with. We want to. There's something built into the human personality that is drawn to a live video because we want to connect. We are built with an inborn design or desire to connect relationally with other people. That's the way we're built. We're social creatures. We're built, in the image of God, who's a triune being, Father, Son, and Spirit, and they've had this communion within themselves for all eternity. And when we were created with that same imprint, that same stamp on us. Being made in the image of God means we desire communion, relationship, and that's what live social media does. Is it connects with people, it grabs them because they feel like they're with you in the moment. Okay, I know this is sounding pretty philosophical, but that's what this discussion is. It's a discussion around the principles that govern powerful personal branding. So going live and using video are two of the things that we're going to use regularly because of this principle, authentic moments. Okay, number 5, consistency is everything in branding. If you're not willing to be consistent with the techniques that I'm going to teach you or point you towards today, it's not going to work. I wish this was a quick fix. I wish you could go live once a week for a month and suddenly be famous in your area. It just doesn't work that way. It's going to take you 6, 8, 12, 24 months of like daily, just discipline, dog with a bone. This is more than anything else in real estate. This is what you got to be a dog with a bone with, because it just doesn't work quickly. But the good news is that if you are consistent with the activities of branding over time, you will build, listen to this, an unassailable position once you have built your brand. Unassailable. That means somebody else can't come and knock you off your perch. You think of this. Now, I don't want anybody to get cross with me, so let's just make up a brand. ABC Banana Realty, okay? I think that's Mike Ferry always uses Banana Realty. Let's use it. Banana Realty is, let's say, the most famous brand in South Africa. You can pick a name that you think is the most famous, well-established, historic brand in South Africa. Okay, Banana Realty. Banana Realty might be 20 years behind the times. They might be 30 years behind the times, as I think some of these Banana Realties are. And yet, people still use them. And it's almost like their reputation is unassailable. Now, over a period of time, that's going to erode. But it takes years and years and years to erode the unassailable position that branding presents for you. So, guys, you can do this at an individual level, at a personal branding level. If you are consistent over time, you just become so famous in your area that for years, you can trade on that currency. It's very exciting. Okay, then number 6, your branding must be done in multiple places. Okay, it's got to be done in multiple places. This can't be done just on Facebook or, okay, I'm going to use Instagram, or I'm going to have a billboard on the side of the main street where I work. You have to use a combination of things. And the principle is simple. The more places you appear, the more famous you stand the chance to become. Okay, if your message is right and you do it consistently, obviously. That then leads us to our 7th and final principle is this. I might have to hide my camera for a second. Is don't neglect a social media account or website. I didn't know whether to put this in as a principle or not, but I think it is such an important principle and such a mistake a lot of people make that I wanted to put it in. It is better not to have a LinkedIn account or a Facebook business page that you set up 2 years ago that you never post on. It's better not to have it than to have it and have it displaying old or outdated information. If someone visits your Facebook business page, they come across it on Facebook, and they see that your last post was 6 months ago, and I often see this with estate agents. Their last post was 6 months ago. You know what they're thinking? Like, this person's a has-been. This person, they can't finish what they start. That's what you're showing people. I can't finish what I start. I get excited about things, I post something, and then I forget about it. I don't have the professional, system-based approach to business that makes sure everything is up to date. Rather, close down certain social media accounts if you don't use them. Shut them down because they are killing your brand. Because you know what people are like. When somebody thinking of using you, they go and do their homework on you. They Google you. They go look you up on Facebook. They go look you up on Instagram and on LinkedIn. And if they see like outdated old stuff, they start to think, hang on a second, maybe this person's past their sell-by date. Okay, don't neglect social media accounts or websites. Man, it drives me crazy. I was looking at someone's website the other day, and I just thought to myself, this is embarrassing. Honestly, this company's website is embarrassing. Like, the font was like font size 6. You could hardly read it. The gaps between the text were huge. The buttons were like covering some of the text. It's like, do you know what people think when they see this? It's embarrassing. Right. Sorry, I'm not meaning to be mean, but I'm just trying to be real with you. Okay. To become well known to buyers and sellers in your area, there are two broad categories to think about in branding. Two broad categories. And this is not rocket science again, but it's offline media and online media. And social media is a part of online media. Online media is slightly bigger than social media because it also includes like websites, landing pages, that sort of thing, bulk email, that sort of thing. But social media obviously plays a big part in your online media, your branding efforts. So I quickly want to address offline media because we're not going to spend time on this today. The rest of today is going to be talking about online media. Offline media is, of course, things like print advertising. Does anybody do that anymore? When last did you put an advert in the Property Times? Look, maybe some of you do. Magazines, that sort of thing. So print media, billboards. Some of you have got billboards in your area. Great. I think that's a wonderful way of branding, as long as your message is correct. It's not the me monster. Banners, boards, directional signage, flags, balloons, flyers, leaflet drops, postcards, wrapping your car. I actually quite like that, as long as you've got a nice car. The car wrapping thing is quite cool. And I think you can get crazy about it. And I think the more like dramatic the car wrapping, the better. Now, what's the problem with offline media? Look, these things work, and I am all for them, but you just got to be careful because they can be expensive. That's the problem with offline media. Whereas online media, so much of it you can do for free. But if you do them consistently, the offline media stuff, they do create presence in your area. It's unquestionable that public signage, if we can just call it that, is powerful. Okay, they do work. It's just that they can be expensive, and they also don't give you the opportunity that like video does to communicate the whole of you, the whole of your personality, etc. Okay, but I think offline media definitely should play a part in your branding. What I want to do is I want to recommend a second book to you. I'm only recommending 2 books, and these are the 2 books. Okay, the Building Your Story Brand by Donald Miller, and then Brent Gove's book Momentum. Many of you were on the session with Brent. A brilliant guy. This was an absolutely wonderful book. And you heard Brent talking, man, his brain is working at 1,000 times faster than any of ours. And he just talks, and he's got ideas. But if you're listening carefully, man, there's gold in what that guy says. And this book is written in the same kind of high-paced way. But I tell you what, it so stimulated me. And one of the areas, there's other stuff you're going to learn in there, but one of the areas is he has this discussion around bold, unapologetic public signage. In the case of the book, he's talking specifically about show houses, but the principle can be extended beyond your signage for show houses. And I tell you what, when I read that, it inspired me about, man, okay, like public signage actually can be very powerful. Okay, so go and read that book. It'll stimulate you on your offline media. I want to get off that now and talk about online and social media. Okay, so I'm going to divide this discussion into 4 subcategories or 4 big questions. And the 4 big questions we're going to ask are, number 1, what content will you be publishing? What content? Okay, because obviously social media branding is about content creation. Okay, so what content? Secondly, what type of media will you be producing? So if my content is a market update, what type of media are you going to use? Is it going to be just a text, like a blog article? Is it going to be an image with a graph, or is it going to be a video? You've got decisions to make. Thirdly, where will your content appear? So now I've got my video, my market update that I do once a month. Where do I put it? And then lastly, how will you promote your online content? And I'll just say one line on that at the end of the webinar. That's not a huge thing. It is a huge thing, but it's not something I want to spend too much time on today. Right, so let's begin. The rest of the webinar today is going through these 4 questions, and I've got some videos I'm going to show you. Okay, so what content to publish? The first thing I want to say is you must publish content related to your niche. Now, this comes back to our previous discussion about having a niche that you brand yourself over. And now that we're talking about content, you can begin to see quite quickly how focusing on a niche opens a whole world of creativity to you around content to educate your constituency about that particular niche. You can be creating content that will appeal to the people in your niche market. So let's take an example. Let's say you focus on selling homes in retirement complexes. That's your niche. You can now get really creative around content that will be interesting or helpful to people thinking of moving into that phase of their life, into retirement complexes, or people who own property in retirement complexes, or deceased estates, what they do with property when their elderly mom or dad has passed away, or content around family members. And I'm actually going to show you an example of this later. How do we purchase property for our mom or our dad, or how do we help them transition emotionally from moving from the family home into a retirement complex? So you can see how having a niche powers your content. I mean, you can even do humorous stuff related to your niche. So stuff that is, and that's what I've done. I focus on a niche today, public branding, and I found some humor that is very relevant for the discussion around branding. You can do the same around your niche. Okay, so that's first thing. What content to publish related to your niche? Secondly, I wanted to show you this. I went onto our Going Virtual program the other day. We've got a Facebook group for the Going Virtual program. You can actually go and join it. I'll let you in now if you weren't a part of it. And I was just checking through some of the stuff people have posted. And this lady, Laura Nell, who's with Just Property, she posted this little link. And I'm going to show you later on, if you click this, where does it take you to? Going to take you when we have our conversation about what media type do you use. But here's the Facebook post. It says, avoid the pitfalls when buying property with family. And this relates to this niche example that I gave you now of retirement complexes, because sometimes brothers and sisters have to purchase a property for mom, who they now need to move into a retirement complex. And that brings about like unique challenges when you've got to buy a property with family. So Laura here is doing a great job of providing niche-related content on Facebook. Is Laura on the webinar today? If you are, just say hi, Laura. Well done. I think that's brilliant. Okay, secondly, market updates. I think market updates should form a standard part of your content. This should be your most regular content. Because why? You are trying to become famous in your area for being the best estate agent, the one who knows what's going on, the trusted advisor for all things property related. How do you do that? You've got to be commenting on the state of the property market in your area. So your market updates will have stuff like average days on the market for the last month, for the last 3 months, for the last 12 months, average selling price, average differential between listing price and selling price in the last month, comparisons this month on all of those metrics versus this month last year, that sort of thing. Property values over the last 3, 6, 12 months. And then again, comparisons with the year before. So you can do a market update on any number of metrics. And I think you should be doing that at least once a month. And I don't want to steal my thunder for later, but I think it should be video based. Okay, it should be a video of like 3 minutes once a month, and that's obviously going to be one of the emails you send out to your big database. You're sending a weekly email once a month. It's your market update. All right, then Okay, so this was a post. I went on to Ricky Caruth's Facebook page because I know he's good on his market updates, and I was looking for one of his posts, and sure enough, this was 2 weeks ago, and it was a condo prices up 123%, and then a link, and then there's a graph, and then if you click that link, it takes you somewhere. What content? What content does it take you to? Okay, we'll talk about that later. So here's an example of market update content. That's the second type of content you should be publishing. Thirdly, area and neighborhood information. Area and neighborhood info. I think you should have a welcome to the neighborhood video that's standard, that sits on your agent bio page. And that anybody who wants to check you out, it's one of the first videos they come across on your agent bio page. Welcome to, the southern suburbs of Cape Town. Welcome to Upper Kenilworth. With some nice music in the background, I think you should definitely have a video on your neighborhood. And in fact, I'm going to play you one. I'm shivering as I play these videos because I know we're going to go over time. But you know what, guys, if you need to leave, no problem. The replay will be available to you. I don't want to shortchange you here today. I want to give you all the value I can, and I want to play you this little video. So this is by a guy in Canada, and it's a little 3-minute welcome to the neighborhood video. And I think this needs to be a standard part. So anytime someone gets added to your database, listen to this, don't miss it. Anytime someone gets added to your database, you meet someone, you add them to your B list. Remember cold calling? You ask them, hey, do you mind if I keep in touch with you? What's the best email address? Go on your database. I think this should be a link in the standard welcome email that you send them. Hey, it was great talking to you today, Mrs. Jones. Here's a little link about me. And if you're ever thinking about, seeing as you're thinking of buying a property in our area, or seeing as you live in our area, would love you to watch this little video on the Upper Kenilworth area that we've put together. Here we go, as an example.
I think there's a lot of people who are intimidated by the name Rosedale because it's an area that gets picked on whenever they talk about the wealthy in Canada. But it's not the same as it used to be. The sociology has changed somewhat, so right now it's mostly two-parent families. Both parents are working very hard. They get centered around the schools in Rosedale. Where their kids go to school is one of the things that pulls people together. There is a great shopping area in the north part of Rosedale on Summerhill, which is just off Glen Road, and it has some great shops. It's like a little village, and there's a lot of houses in Rosedale that are within a quick walk of Yonge Street, and Yonge Street, as you know, has got the subway, and it has all of the shops that you can ever imagine wanting. Rosedale's the kind of place that you move to if you want to make sure that your kids are going to good schools, where there's a lot of community involvement, such as Moordale, which is a community center. The streets in Rosedale are ones where, just like any other street, the parents go to work in the morning and the kids go to schools, and then they come back and they celebrate with their family at night. And it's like any other neighborhood, except the homes are a little bit bigger, the homes are a little bit more expensive, and but it's a great neighborhood to live in. And the best thing about it is it's right in the center of Toronto. It's very accessible to everything that Toronto has to offer.
Okay, so there's an example of area or neighborhood-based content. Obviously, it doesn't have to be a standard, like one-off video like that. You can be doing updates. Let's say there's a market that's taking place. Let's say there's a local bylaw that's been passed. Let's say there's going to be a meeting in the town hall of the local, councillor is going to be talking about something. You have to become like the digital mayor of your area, creating neighborhood and area info. So good idea for content. Frequently asked questions. I've got another video, but I'm not going to show it to you. So one of the frequently asked questions this guy was doing is how to prepare your home for sale. And you can have these as standard links on your website, on your Facebook like profile page, on your on your agent bio page, wherever that sits. PropCon is a good place to be able to create an agent bio landing page for yourself. Frequently asked questions are a great idea for videos. My only caution to you would be, please, if you do a frequently asked questions video, make it interesting. You got to work really hard to make, like, home tips for home buyers, like, okay, yes, I'm thinking of buying a home, but am I really going to want to sit for 3 minutes and watch this, or 5 minutes and watch this? Like, and that's why humor and personality make content far more accessible for area. Just be careful with frequently asked questions videos, because I've seen some very boring FAQ questions. Then number 5, personal stuff. So don't be afraid from time to time to share your thoughts on something. Try not to get controversial, unless that's kind of the brand you're trying to build, as being this really sort of controversial character. But, share your opinions, share your thoughts, share something that you're interested in. I've seen great videos from like Glenn Bradfield comes to mind on stuff that he's involved with locally. I've seen great content from agents on like a soup kitchen that runs in the area, and they just went down and interviewed someone there. So personal stuff, thoughts, opinions, hobbies, don't be afraid to share that stuff, even family stuff. Why? Because this creates that richness of personality, where people feel like they're getting to know you truly, not the me monster in the terrible photograph on the billboard. Like, I want to know who you are if I'm going to trust you. 6, interviews is a great way to do branding, because interviews are engaging, they're exciting to listen to, they're educational, and you get to put someone else on a pedestal. And people love that. It makes you look invested in your community. It makes you look like you've got good relationships with others. It does all sorts of wonderful things for your branding when you do interviews with others. So go down to the local barista who sells coffee on the side of the road on a Saturday morning and just interview him with your phone. And then say, hey, I would love to introduce you to my constituency. I release videos from time to time on my Facebook page, and would love to just do a quick interview with you. Are you keen? Even go live with it. And then you can post the video to your database afterwards. So interviews is a great idea. Then here's a brilliant one: reviews. Shopping reviews, shopping center reviews, restaurant reviews, movie reviews, local service providers. There's countless ideas. Kyle Whistle, he was voted the top agent in the world who uses video by Inman. And I think it was Inman that voted him as that. If you go and look at their a YouTube account, some of their most popular videos that they've produced as Whistle Realty is Kyle Whistle going down to a local restaurant, and someone's obviously doing the filming. He orders a meal. He then gets the owner to come and sit next to him. He chats to him. He talks about the meal, and then he talks about how people can find the restaurant. People love that sort of stuff. And again, it makes you seem like you're integrated, you're trusted, you're connected, you're the person to speak to in the area. So great idea for restaurant reviews. Mary Bailey is doing some really good stuff. I saw Mary put a video the other day of the guy who sells burgers in Komiki on Komiki Beach. Brilliant little 3 or 4 minute video, just interviewing the burger guy, showing some beautiful footage of Komiki Beach. Really wonderful stuff and quite easy to do. She just did that on her cell phone. It was unplanned. Okay, content. I want to show you another video now, how to hack great content for your videos. Do I want to show this to you? Whoo! Okay, I've got a decision to make here, because this video is, let me tell you how long it is. It is, I can't actually see. I think it's like 10 minutes long. Should I play this? Because I can see time is running away with us. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to play it. But if you want to find the link for it, I will put it in the chat roll, and you can go and watch it in your own time. if you are watching this on YouTube, if you're watching the replay afterwards, you can find this by doing a search on my YouTube account. Okay, go to my YouTube page, do a search through the videos, and look for a video entitled "How to Hack Great Content." Just type that in and search; it'll find it for you. But for the rest of you, on the chat roll, I'm going to put it in. I'm going to put it in on the top here. Okay, guys, if you type, my chat's going to get lost now, so don't type unless you need to. The YouTube video is at the top of the chat roll right now, so please just click that or copy it. Okay, excellent technique on how to hack good content for your videos. Right, we're going to move on. We are now moving to the next question. So we finished with what content should you be publishing? Okay, and I gave you 7 great ideas. Next one, what type of media should you be using? Okay, you've got 3 options that I can see. There may be others that I don't think about. Text-based media. Okay, this is a little bit old school, but it can still work. So articles, written articles, blog posts are examples. Okay, remember that Facebook post of, I think her name was Laura Nell earlier, of buying property with a loved one. When you click the link in that Facebook post, it took you to that page, which I found interesting. It wasn't a video. It was a blog article on Just Property's website. And if you scroll down, it was quite a long article. Okay, did I read the article? No. Okay, because I guess maybe I'm not interested in this particular niche. But I mean, there was just too much text for me. As soon as I see a long text, I just shut down mentally. I was like, oh, I'm not going to read it. But I'm not saying text-based content doesn't work. I'm not saying that to you. You can make your own decisions. Okay, but that's the first option you've got. Second option is image-based media. So that's where you create photographs or brag images that you post in various places, and you can actually use those. Obviously, image-based media is perfect for offline media. You can use image-based media on a billboard, on a sign, on a directional signage, on whatever, on a park bench. Image-based media. Okay. Now I am going to show you a video now because I know this is quite a niche idea, but the technique I teach you in this video, this is one of the most valuable skills I have ever learned in my business career. And you cannot believe how useful this skill that I'm going to show you is. That when you know how to create your own PDF images, and then you can export them as like JPEG images, you don't have to wait for a graphic designer to create cool images. You can just create your own images and put them up. Okay, so I'm going to show you a video now on how to create brag images. What is a brag image? Well, like the one you see on the screen, you've just sold a property. How do you create a really cool brag image that you can now print out and put in all the post boxes in your area without using a graphic designer? You just do it yourself. How do you create these images so that you can put it on online? So Facebook, Instagram, etc. How do you do it? You cannot believe how easy it is to create images like this. And now I'm going to show you a video on how to do that. Okay, because I taught one of the agents in my EXP business, who you can see on that image. Her name is Alette. I taught Alette how to do it, and I sent her the little how-to video. And I'm just going to play you the video that I made for her. Okay, if that is acceptable to you. If I could find it. Yes, there it is. Okay, here we go. This is going to be a video in which I will generate an image for Facebook or other social media, which Alette has asked me to do for her, and teach a man to fish thing. So I'm actually going to show you how to do it yourself so that you can produce these anytime you want. So what we're going to do is start with a blank slide. So we're going to use, if you're on a Mac, Keynote. If you're on a PC, you're going to use PowerPoint. And we're going to create the image here and then export it as an image. Okay. So Alette has sent me a few emails. Here's the first one here. Nope. Yes, okay, here we are. So here's our image. I'm just going to take that image, drag it into the slide itself. There we go. Now our image is in. And now we want a little bit of text. So first thing we want is the EXP logo. So let's go and find the EXP logo. And what color are we going to do? I need to find somewhere where it'll sit and we can see the color nicely. So perhaps, okay, I'm going to go bottom left. So we're going to need a white transparent logo, which I've got here. White transparent. If you need any of these logos, you can get them in the course on my school. Okay, so I'm dragging it, and I'm going to drag it in here. And then we are going to resize it and put it in over there. Okay, that's looking good. Next, we want the selling price. Okay, or the list price. The list. So let's see what information the letter's given us here. This probably was on the market as an open mandate for 2.5 million. Okay, so let's do that. List price 2.5 million, open mandate. Okay, so we are now going to put a shape. I'm going to put a square in here because we want to put this information top right hand corner, and we want it to kind of stand out. So we're going to make our shape on the right hand side. I'm not sure how you do it on PowerPoint, but you control the color and the border and everything of the shape on the right hand side here. So I'm going to make this a red. Opens this thing up. I'm going to make it red, and let's give it a really cool border. No border. Picture frame. Yeah, that's quite nice. Then inside this box we are now going to put a text box. Yeah? And in this text box we are going to say, what was it? Okay, so let's put in here nice and bold, sold, and we want our text to be white. So text color white. And what font do we want this? I don't have Roboto. So the official EXP font is Roboto, but I actually need to go and buy that and download it onto my computer. So in the meantime, what does Georgia look like? That looks pretty good. Bold. And then we are going to increase the size there to say 100. No, that's too big. Say 40. Yeah, okay, that's looking good. Sold. And I'll tell you what, let's left line the text here. Sorry if this is a bit boring, but hey, you know, once you've watched this once, you're going to know how to do it yourself. So that's an exciting thing. So we're going to put that on the left, and no, we want that to shift to the top. Okay. And we're going to say here it was an open mandate. The list price was 2.5 million rand. Okay, so we're going to unbold it and go down a little bit in the font size. So list price, let's put another little space in there. List price 2.5 million rand, and it was an open mandate. Open mandate. I think all these sizes can go up a bit. So click there, and we can just Command plus on my machine goes up in size. Okay, so now I'm going to just reduce the size of the box itself. Okay, cool. That's nice. Top right hand corner. Next piece of information we wanted was that it was on the market for 7 days and it was sold for 92% of asking price. So where are we going to put that? I think we should put that at the bottom right-hand corner. And we're going to do a text box here. In fact, you know what? Let's just delete that little text box. Let's do the same thing we did here. Let's just copy this box and paste in another one. And this one we are going to make black in color, but then slightly transparent. Style, yes, okay, we want it black, but then opacity, we want it slightly transparent like that. Okay, now we want to add a text box in here. We're going to have that text as white as well. White text, and we want the text to be Georgia. And we want the font size to come up a bit. Something like that. Okay, let's get it in the middle. And we want to say sold. No, we wanted left aligned, sorry. Sold for 92% of asking price. That was 2.3 million. 2.3 million. Make this slightly bigger so we can take this up and get a second line in there. And it was sold within 7 days. Let's make that bold, and then the line below it, we are, can we get this to fit in here? No. So we're going to need to reduce the text size. There, that works. And then in the line below it, we're not going to do bold. We're going to say let Smith, and put a vertical line. Where's my vertical line? There it is. And there, and Alet's telephone number is, copy that, paste it in there. That's her telephone number. Okay, excellent. That looks pretty good to me. Now we just need Alet's picture, which she has given me here. So I'm grabbing that. I'm going to paste it in here, and we're going to make it a lot smaller. Okay. Something like that. And let's give that a nice little picture frame. There we go. There's your image. I love it. Okay, so now, top of the screen, File, Export to. Now on a PC, you're going to have to figure out how to do this, but it's going to be something very similar to this. Export to, and I'm going to select your images. Now there is only one slide, so you can leave it as all. Otherwise, you could select which slides you want as images. Next. And it's going to export it as, I think, a PNG or a JPEG or whatever. But we're going to call this Alet Smith listing image number 1, because there's 2 others she wants me to do for her. And I'm going to find this in marketing materials. So let's create a new folder for Alet Smith, and we're going to save it in there. Now it's exported the image. So let me go and show you what that looks like. Where was it? It was marketing materials, Alet Smith, and I'll just drag it one folder back, delete that. Okay, there's our image. So this is now a JPEG, and you can just upload this JPEG. There it is there. You can just upload that as a JPEG now onto any of your social media platforms. Pretty simple. Give it a try. Guys, I know that was tedious, but I can honestly tell you that has been one of the most valuable skills that I have learned in my entire business career, because I never have to wait for a graphic designer to produce images. You just create them on PowerPoint, move stuff around, create like you want, and export it as an image. It's brilliant. The other skill I learned was screenshotting, how you can like pick a certain part of your screen and screenshot it and use that as an image. Man, I do that all the time as well. Right, let's move on. Types of media. The next one is video-based media. Right, video-based media. Obviously, video being a very important part of branding. Do I have to motivate for video? Well, let me give you a couple of tips on working with video. You need to buy a lavalier microphone. Okay, what are you going to use? You're going to use your phone to produce all your videos. Just use your phone. The camera on these phones is brilliant, but you do need to use a microphone if you're going to be filming anywhere more than an arm's length away from you. Then the sound becomes very bad. So if you want to do a listing video, for example, standing outside a home, you want kind of head and shoulders and the whole house in the shot. Your phone is going to have to be quite some way away from you. How do you do that? Buy yourself a lavalier microphone. This is the one that I use. It's called a Rode Smart Lav Plus. You can order it online. You use that, and then you use a tripod. So you buy that with an extension lead. I think there's a 6-meter extension lead you get. And then you use a tripod or a lighting stand. This is a lighting stand that I use. And at the end of the lighting stand or the tripod, tripods have that little plate that you can screw out. And then it's got a little screw underneath of it, that little plate. What do you screw the plate into so that you can hold your phone? Here's a little hack. You go to the local informal trader and you buy a selfie stick, the cheapest selfie stick you can find. And at the end of the selfie stick, there's going to be this little dongle. You unscrew this from the end of the selfie stick, and then you screw it in to your lighting stand or your tripod. And guess what? Now you've got a tripod that holds your phone. Okay, it's such a brilliant little hack for getting good video footage using your phone. And that's all you need. A tripod with a selfie stick head, a lavalier microphone, and your telephone, your cell phone. That's all you need. Okay? Is your Smart Lav Plus compatible with your iPhone? Yes, but you need that little extra lightning stick dongle, but you get that with the iPhone itself. So you plug that into the lightning port at the bottom, and then that has got on the end of it the little dongle that the normal male jack is the word I'm looking for. I'm just thinking if I've got it here. Oh, this is it here. So this little dongle goes into the end of your iPhone, and then that's the jack for the normal input from a microphone. Okay, so yes, but you do need a dongle. And I don't know, like if you've got a Samsung, you'll just need to figure it out. Right, why video? Okay, I'm going to shoot through these facts. Why should you be producing video? And I reckon, in case you're looking for something like hard and fast, I think you need to be posting one thing on all your social media pages every day, one post per day. I think once a week, it needs to be a video. You create video content. And once a month, that video needs to be a market update. That's my online branding in 2 seconds. That's my whole blueprint. Okay, post something every day on all the social media platforms. Make sure one of those per week is a video. Make sure one of those videos per month is a market update. Boom, there you go. Okay, and then use the links in your newsletter when you send your newsletter out once a week. Your newsletter. Right, let's read this. Why video? 1.5 billion hours of video are viewed on YouTube every day. We live in a video-rich world. 8 billion video views on Facebook every day. Real estate listings with a video get 403% more inquiries, 6 times more leads for companies that use video regularly. 9% of estate agents are using video. 9, when video is so powerful. Social media posts with video get 12 times more shares. And because Google owns YouTube, I don't know if you knew that, but Google owns YouTube. Because Google owns YouTube, products that include YouTube video links get 157% more organic search traffic on Google search. That's nice, because Google want to promote YouTube, because they want to keep the traffic. Why video? I'm going to give you the most important reason now why you should be using video. When people watch you on video multiple times, they form what psychologists call a parasocial relationship with you. A parasocial relationship with you. This is so powerful. What is a parasocial relationship? It's where you feel like you know the person you're watching because you've watched them so many times. That's why movie stars have people screaming at them as they go down the red carpet. Brad, it's me, Brad. Like Brad knows them, you know. You feel like you know the person. Why? Because you've watched them on video so often. Okay. So that's important. It's a parasocial relationship. Why? You're trying to become famous, right? Trying to become famous. And video is going to help you do that. Tips for shooting better videos. Shoot in landscape. Okay, this is landscape. That's portrait. Shoot in landscape, not in portrait. Use a tripod, as I've shown you how to do. Obey the rule of thirds in your video editing. That means your face needs to be 2/3 across and 1/3 down, not in the middle. Okay, just trust me. Look directly into the camera and make sure your phone is at eye level. I hate videos where the person's video is down here and it's like me doing a webinar like this, where you can check up my nostrils, you know. That's how a lot of people shoot their videos. Eye level and look into the camera. The most dangerous thing about this is if you use the front camera, the selfie camera, people look at themselves in the image, and then they're obsessed with me as they're trying to shoot a video, but they're looking at their own face. Put a piece of paper over it. If you're going to use your selfie camera, so you're not tempted to look at yourself, put a little bit of press stick next to where the front camera is, not over it, and look at that piece of press stick while you're shooting your video. Make sure your lighting is good. Natural light's best. Don't have the light behind you. You must be looking into the light when you shoot a video. Have some depth behind you. Don't stand up against a white wall. Okay, it makes you look terrible. Overdo your physical expressions. Okay, it's one of the things I do on my webinars is I'm constantly moving my hands. I don't talk like this when I have a conversation with my wife. Darling, have you gone down to the shops today? Because I really need you to get me some more deodorant. You know, I felt like Donald Trump there. Overdo on video your physical expressions. It works. Just trust me, okay? It doesn't look as awkward as it feels. And then use your hands if you're reading a script. If you're going to put a little script next to your phone, you can cover up the fact that you're reading a script with your hands. These are such cool techniques. Okay, we need to move on. Where will your content appear? Where will it appear? 3 main places online. Number 1, a website, a blog, or landing pages. One of the best things you get it when you subscribe to PropCon is you can create an agent bio page. It's your own website page with client testimonials and your agent intro video and your available listings. It's a wonderful page. It's like a website page you can promote. A blog, landing pages. On PropCon, you can also create landing pages for each of your listings. You can create collage pages with multiple listings with a heading so that you can send a group of listings to your database with a link. Okay, so 3, this is the first, website pages. Secondly, social media, obviously. Social media accounts that you need to have. A personal Facebook account. With your personal Facebook account, you open a Facebook business page. How do I do that? Google it. It's easy. You then open an Instagram account, which you can link to your Facebook business page using the Facebook Creator Studio. Okay, you can Google that, Facebook Creator Studio. Then you can make posts and send them to Facebook and Instagram at the same time. It's wonderful. And then you need a YouTube. So personal Facebook, Facebook business page, Instagram profile, YouTube. Those are the 4 I think you need. Now, you can also do LinkedIn and Twitter and not SnapScan, Snapchat, and TikTok is the one. You can do those if you want, but these are the 4 I think you need to have. And you need to be posting on them every day. And then lastly, go live. Right, go live. Go live all the time. Do I need to motivate for that? I've got a video on how to go live. go onto my YouTube account, search for how to go live. There's a video that I've done, a how-to video on how to go live on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So it's a really cool little video. Okay, promoting your online. I'm finished. There's one last slide. Your biggest 3 friends for promoting your online content. Okay, so what are we talking about? I create a market update video. Okay, it's 3 minutes. Market update video. Wonderful. I've got it. Now what do I do with it? That's the question. Okay, I put it on my Facebook page. I share it to my personal page, put it on my business page. I share it to my personal page. So it goes both on Facebook. I put it on Instagram, IGTV, okay, video for Instagram. And I put it on my, so IGTV is just, if you've got an Instagram account, if you put video on, it's going on via IGTV. Don't let that confuse you. And then you put it on your YouTube channel. Okay, now it's on those places. Now, do I just wait for the world to come? Okay, no. Email the links to your database. Part of your weekly newsletter should be, I think, a standard little section that says, this week's video is on X. Click here. Send them to probably your YouTube channel. Email the links to your database. WhatsApp the links to your database. I've got a guy in my business, AB Trump in Mossel Bay, who does a great job on WhatsApping the link for his newsletter out. And WhatsApp gets the most number of clicks. Did you know that? Even more than email. So WhatsApp the links out the database, and then engage with the posts. This is the third biggest friend in getting your content promoted. If somebody comments on one of your posts, you comment back and ask a question so that they then answer the question, and then you comment again. The more you comment and engage with people and get people engaging with your content, the more Facebook feature it in people's feeds. There's a whole technique around that, but I'm going to leave it there. Engage with people's posts. Right. Maybe some paid advertising. Okay. But you can pour money into Facebook ads if you don't know what you're doing. Just be careful with it. But I do have ads running. I've got a Google ad running off my MailChimp account. Interestingly, they've got a thing that helps you create a Google ad. And many of you are seeing that. When you're surfing the internet, if you see my EXP model explained, ads come up. That's from an ad that I've placed off my MailChimp account, and it's targeting people who have gone to my Spotlight Coaching Series.co.za website. Why am I getting you guys to go to that website so often? I keep promoting it. Why have I put all the replays on that website page? Because I've got an advert that has got a cookie. It knows when you visited that, and then it follows you on Google, and it shows you my EXP model explained video. Okay, so that's a cool use of. That's the only online ad that I run. It costs me about 180 Rand a month or something. Worth every cent. Okay, guys, that is me for the day. God bless you. Thank you. If you would like to spend time with me one-on-one, I'm happy to do that. I'm trying to find my little offer here to put it up on the screen. Yeah, so if you would like a little one-on-one coaching time, or you want to bounce an idea off me, you want to have a chat to me, you want me to pray for you, I don't mind, whatever. Book a time with me in my diary. You're very welcome. And that is it. 23 minutes after 10. Today was long. Okay, sorry about that, guys, but I hope it was valuable. I believe that this whole Spotlight Coaching Series has been awesome for you guys. I feel like I've put everything into it, and I trust that you guys have felt the same. So bless you. Any questions I can answer? I will hang around now and keep my eye on the chat roll. But otherwise, over and out. I look forward to meeting you personally if you book a time with me. Otherwise, yeah, I'll be in touch. You're on my database, so you're going to be getting my emails. And yeah, I trust that this will be a wonderful last few months of the year for you, and that next year really holds a new dawn for all of us. I think it's been a difficult year for us. It's been a difficult year for our kids. It's been a difficult year for us personally. It's been a difficult year business-wise. The economy is not great. We've had all of the violence in South Africa that we had this year. It's been a tough year. And I'm trusting that we'll go into next year strong. And I really hope that that is the story that you can write. So God bless you guys. And we'll see you soon.